In this video, I'm going to harvest some 18650 batteries out of this second-hand power bank. I purchased this power bank off of a classified ads listing here in Singapore. There are some large ones where you can find these for just a few dollars. And in this one, the seller had mentioned in the ad that he was having a problem using it, that he was unable to get power out of it, which is fine for me because I'm just interested in the batteries inside. I'm specifically interested in this model. This is my favorite one to get. This is the M1 model or Xiaomi model because it's 10,400 milliamp hours. So it's going to have 4 batteries in it. And this particular model, they're using LG batteries, which are very good batteries. They tend to maintain that charge very well, even though it's a secondhand item, even though it's been used probably for a year or two. Actually, this one looks pretty good condition, so I'm not sure how long he used it. But let's go ahead and open it up and get these batteries out of here. So in this one, you have to take the cover off the bottom and the top in order to get to the screws to unscrew it. So let me see if I can do that without causing too much damage. I do like to keep the case of these things because they are useful. And this is a nice aluminum case as well. Okay. So that's part of it. And I don't think it will come directly off. I have a feeling, if memory serves me, that there are also screws on this side that I have to get out. And this will pop right out. There we go. Just work it down a little bit. Okay. Okay. And this should then just pop right out. Just be careful on the electronics. Yeah, so that's it. I'm not going to bother testing the charging discharging on this because I really don't care. Something you might want to grab off of this though is there's a temperature sensor here. This particular unit does check for temperature to make sure it's not overheated. All I'm going to do now is to remove it from here. Sometimes it'll just pop right off when I do that. Okay, I'm just going to cut this very carefully. Like that. That side comes right off. Okay. I do like to leave a little bit of the top metal here, the binding metal, because I like to solder directly onto the batteries for my projects. Some of the projects that I've used these for example, replacing a set of 4 AAA batteries, or I'm sorry, AA batteries, for little things like this with a little boost circuit, and you can get the required 6 volts very easily. And then you have a nice rechargeable battery set up for it. And this one weighs actually less than the original batteries and fits in basically the same space. Also my other project with the solar owl eye that I did in another video, that is also powered by a single one of these batteries, and it lasts for a month. So once I have these out, what I like to do is just separate them out. And again, you need to be very careful about this with lithium ion batteries. Let me see here. So I'm just going to take this one off just because it's long. And you can cut that right off as well. Okay. Kind of bend it a little bit, and sometimes they'll just pop like that. And cut. Very carefully again, cut. Get that off. I'm just going to take that little spiky piece off. You do need to be careful about spiky pieces. Also, you want to be careful to make sure that there's no nicks in the batteries as well. Just make sure you haven't nicked the battery at all, because you might need to tape that up if there is a nick in the battery. And we can separate these out as well. Okay, and I'll just very carefully cut this just to make sure that we're not in any way shorting the battery, because that is very dangerous. Okay, see, I did just tip there. Very dangerous indeed. That would not be good. I think I'm going to try this side. Might be a little bit easier. Okay. Okay, so unfortunately I wasn't able to keep too much of that binding metal on top of it. Unfortunately, it'll be a little bit tougher to solder onto the top of it. And I'll do this one now. Let me cut this off. And I'll try to get this piece off as well without damaging it. Sometimes if you just rotate them a little bit, they'll spring up a little bit. Let me start from this side. Okay, so that broke apart fairly easily. I can cut this piece off here. Let's bring this up and cut this piece off here. Okay, so this one's coming out a bit better. This one I can cut as well. This one too. Okay. Let's push this back down so it's smooth, doesn't cause any problems. Okay, so let's test the voltage on these, see where we're at. And this will probably be positive on this side, negative here. Yep, 3.5, that's good. .5. So it looks like they were very well balanced. 0.55, good. 3.55. So these are probably going to be very good battery. I imagine each of them should be around the full 2600 milliamp hour rating. Generally, when I test them, they come out between 2.5, 2.6. Or sometimes 2.4, I should say. And I'll just throw them into my little 500 and do a test on them. Once that's done, I'll go ahead and write the amount on it. And then I'll have my batteries that I can use. So I've run the battery charger a few times now, testing out the capacity of these batteries. And unfortunately, they are falling a bit short, about 25% below their maximum capacity. They're all running at just under 2000 milliamp hours, 1939, 1858, 1845. In a couple of tests, they did approach 2000. I believe this one hit 2000 and this one hit 2000. So depending on the charging cycle, you might get slightly less or slightly more. However, they are falling a little bit short. They did degrade a little bit over usage over the years. They're certainly still usable in my hobby projects, which is perfectly fine. However, I wouldn't put them into anything that's demanding a lot of capacity. But for hobby projects, perfectly fine, perfectly usable.